Hello. That was good. That was a good sound.
Welcome to another episode of the Workhorse Fitness Podcast. I am one of your coaches, Gene, and here is your other coach,
Ebe.
Hello. How you guys doing? Feels like it's been a couple weeks because I think we recorded the past couple ones before New Year's.
Yeah.
And we just let them roll, and so this is a new one. So there you go.
First one of the year.
Yeah, which is interesting that it's the first one of the year because we wanted to talk a little bit about your New Year's resolutions and why they probably suck and you're never going to achieve your goals.
We're super motivating.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Specifically, there was a post by somebody else, but I'm going to steal the headline. The gap between intention and action. And I think that's where most people lie.
Yeah, I think it's more of a,
Right.
so you say, we come up with these grand things because it's seasonal, whatever. All right, I have to choose something. It's time for me to whatever because it's 2020. And the problem is you're just you're going into it like, all right, I'm going to do this, right? But you personally haven't developed and tried to get your mind to the point of, all right, I need to do this kind of mindset. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that lose the weight, yeah, some people start a New Year's resolution, they do it. That's great. But they probably have been thinking about that for 6 months. They've probably been planning in their head, okay, maybe this is the day I'm going to start it, but all right, these are the things I got to do. I got to keep reminding myself every week that when I get to this point that's what I'm going to do. And versus this spring of I'm going to lose 50 pounds this month. And then you're like, but I'm not changing anything, right? Because you haven't been thinking about it. You haven't been planning towards it. So I think that's why most people, usually fail or tap out after a week or 2 weeks or a month or something, because, they just are forcing themselves to do it without wanting to do it.
Mm-hmm. You got to make it become part of who you are.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
I think you're absolutely right. I've seen it time and time and time and time again, right? So one, if it's something you've been planning for a while, you just got to start. Mm-hmm. I've done that too, where you're planning and on this day is this thing, I'm going to start this thing. And then, let's say you're going to lose, on Monday the 27th, I'm going to start losing weight. So up until then, I'm going to eat like a bastard.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to do some things that suck, and then I start this thing, and then it lasts a week, and then you're like, that's kind of hard, so I don't want to do that anymore. Whereas the focus should be more on making it part of who you are. So starting slowly, like the challenge we have going on right now, which is removing something that you think you can remove forever.
Yeah.
One at a time. I think it's the whole 30 diet. I mean, it's just a name on something, but I think if I'm not mistaken, that is based around removing something every week. Maybe it was a SEAL Fit diet. I don't remember, but there was a great diet of just it's 3 months long. The first week you remove dairy. That's gone for the rest of the 3 months. Then the second week you remove sugar, and that's gone for the rest of the 3 months. And the third week you remove tobacco, and that's whatever those things are. You sort of plan them out and then knock them out. Yeah. And then you see how you feel at the end of those 3 months or 30 days or whatever it is, Mm-hmm. I think something like that for me makes more sense.
Yeah.
As an approach for long-term success versus, not doing it.
Yeah.
That seems counterintuitive, but
I think the main thing is that you just don't start one day doing nothing and then the next day I'm going to do all of this. I think that's just
hard to do.
The real thing. I mean, it's
very hard.
If you're going to give something up, there's usually steps that can help. Mm-hmm. Say it's tobacco, you do less over time, and then maybe your goal is in 6 months that you're going to be completely done. But you're doing a pack a day, you're going to do a half a pack. Mm-hmm. Or something, that. Whatever. So it's gradual. It's you're teaching yourself, you're motivating yourself, or you're trying alternatives, things like that are going to help with those things. If it's food, my biggest thing is not just giving it up, but find something that is easy, convenient, that's very close, but just as
right.
it's better.
Especially with food, you can't just give it up. You have to replace it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just give up food, you're gonna find yourself starving.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to stop that? Right. Like you got to have a plan for that.
Yeah. There's like if say you eat Hershey candy bars one a day or something like that. The first thing I would do is just switch to a better alternative that's similar, which like if you are getting like dark chocolate that's 80 something percent cocoa, or maybe you start at 70% and you get to ones that are less sugar, less crap in it, and then you try to dial it back and only have like 1 or 2 pieces, and that it might take you 4 months to do that, but you're not eating a whole candy bar progress. Yeah, but it's not as hard when you do it that way. It's really hard to just give up on things because your body's going to crave what it missed, right? Whether that's food or being lazy watching Netflix, like
I don't want to give that up.
Well, then don't give it up. I'm all about giving up things that are realistic and not something that you really have to have.
Right.
And that's another hard part. It's figuring out what you actually have to have and what you can move on from to become something better if you want to.
Yeah, I mean it's also important too. I think that if you're starting something that's going to take time, months, to reflect on little things along the way too. Like you really do need to reflect on little victories. So I know when I'm coaching people, I like to help sort of prop things up with little victories along the way, right? Like, hey man, or hey woman, whatever, you have given up and successfully replaced this thing after 2 weeks. Like you should. That is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Because that shit's hard, especially with food. It is for me anyway. So you have to kind of constantly reflect. I don't know though. I think there's definitely a reason why most people start out on things and then don't actually see them through. There's definitely some psychology there.
Yeah. Another big one for me is just we talk about it here all the time, about accountability, as in, and I think we may have talked about it on another podcast, but if you put it out there,
that's a good
for
one.
people to see, like it just helps. It helps. It costs $0 to post it on Facebook.
That's right.
Some people might think you're annoying, but if it helps you,
who cares,
right? Yeah. If it helps you, then do it, and don't be ashamed of yourself for trying to better yourself. A lot of people like to do that.
Yeah. So you just helped me solidify a thought. Where I was going earlier was the difference between action and intent, right? And I think that's a step in the right direction, because I think a lot of us hide behind intent, right? We hide behind the idea that we want to do something. So like planning, while you need to have some level of planning is also a crutch to hide behind, because you can just keep planning and writing and studying and things and then never actually do the thing.
Yep.
Right? Putting something out there publicly kind of helps cut through some of that, because if you say I'm going to start on this day and you've said it publicly, and if you have a circle of good friends or you have good coaches or whatever, they will say, well, it's the 27th. What up? Why aren't you doing the thing you said you'd do?
Yep.
And then you got to deal with it. That kind of thing helps motivate me. Like if it's public or it's something that I've said I'm going to do to other people, I'm definitely going to work towards that goal more so than the goal that I haven't told anybody else about.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's simple math, but
And I'm doing a very similar thing.
Segue.
Yeah, I guess segue into some dumb stuff that I'm.
Is it a segue or a non sequitur? I
don't know the difference.
I don't either.
Well, so I'm attempting at doing a year's worth of hero workouts. So
yeah, hero wads. We've done a few of those here. Murph is a good example. Was it New Year's Day? We did one. If you came in and did those, but they're very hard.
They're just usually long.
Yeah,
they're long, grueling. Typically, Our average CrossFit workout here is 10, 15 minutes. It's usually
40 minutes, 45.
It depends on the day. There's some that are over, or close to 2 hours. There's some that can be completed in 20 minutes, but I would say most of them are around an hour.
Yeah.
Straight of doing something.
So 2 years ago, was it 2 years? Wow.
I think it was last year.
Was it
Technically it's 2 years ago.
Yeah,
but
so it was
2017.
Summer of
2017.
Not last summer, but the summer before last, right?
Okay, 2018.
Yeah, summer 2018. We did a month of Hero Wads. So
yes.
How many did we do? 30?
We did 5 a day.
Yeah, 5 a day or 5 a week.
5 a week. Sorry,
yeah,
5 a day.
We used those
5 a week for 4 weeks. Yeah,
we'd not be here right now. We did 5 a day per month. So we did that as a group. The coaches did. That's 2 summers ago, and that was hard.
Yeah, and that's what kind of got me to. So there's like, I have a video. I'm probably going to send everyone invites if they want to come.
You should
be a part of the page. I just made it last night. I hadn't had time to invite everyone yet, but I have like 10 reasons why. But during that month that we did that, one, I felt like I was in the best shape of my life, not because we were doing like super hard stuff, but
right.
I was more engaged in what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time since my first 4 years of doing CrossFit really was into it. It helped motivate me. I actually was scared most days, which got me thinking about it. And I like that feeling. What I don't like about if I did other workouts and stuff, was I would be stressed about how I would perform. I was never stressed about how I would perform. I didn't care. Right. I just wanted to get through the shit.
Yeah, just get done. Mm-hmm.
And for me, that really helped me mentally. And what I kind of talk about in the other videos, just, like with us owning a business, you own multiple, there's just a lot of ups and downs mentally. Mm-hmm. It's tough. And I feel like when I physically and mentally in workouts, when I feel strong, outside of that, in my everyday life, I feel a lot stronger.
That's exactly
I know that
right.
I can accomplish anything.
That's exactly right.
And not that I can't accomplish that with regular workouts. I just wanted something that would really, again, give me that kind of butterfly feeling before the day, depending on what it is. I also know it's going to help me with planning my day out, which is something I've been struggling with over the last few years. I have to plan my day out. I can't do what I've been doing where I come in, at 5, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a quick workout.
Yeah, it's not
go.
The same.
No, I have to plan out what I'm doing, so it's going to help me plan out everything else in my day. It's going to help me keep with cooking food, which Heather and I have been doing for a couple months, but I want to keep making better choices when we are cooking food too, because it is easy to just still go and be like, okay, well, we need something fast. Let's make a bad decision. Again, the planning, I need to eat right. I cannot do hero workouts every day if I'm eating garbage.
It's not gonna work.
So
more recovery. It's great. I love seeing that. I'm gonna try to do as many as I can with you, because it's a great anchor. Like I've been training for the past year. It's probably a stretch. I'd say 6 months. Like seriously, for this test I did, second degree black belt, and it's a great anchor because when I say anchor, it's because it's weird to say like it's the center of your life.
Yeah.
Like a workout can't be the center of your life because that's really kind of shallow, but not because it's a great anchor because it gives intent. It makes you have intent on everything else you do, right? So you're gonna be here for a while working out. You're gonna have some time, have to put in time to thinking about it and all this other stuff. So you are limiting some of your time. So the time you're gonna spend on the business, the time you're gonna spend with your family, the time you're gonna spend sleeping, the time you're gonna spend recovering, you have to have intent on those things.
Yep.
Because you can't fuck it up, right? You can't miss it because if you miss it, you're gonna pay for it later.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to make it up.
Yes, you have to make it up. So it makes you. I love the word intent, and I think maybe it relates to the first subject a little bit more, which is why a lot of people fall short of their goals because it's just a thing, and it's sort of like amorphous idea of losing 20 pounds or whatever random thing is. There's no intent to it.
Yeah.
Right? The stakes aren't high.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. Like it's not changing your daily life. It's not out there for people to see it. Like all of these things, when you combine them together, makes it a lot more achievable for you. Mm-hmm. And again, yeah, when you just like scream something out, it doesn't.
Yeah, you need some skin in the game.
Yeah, it has to have substance to it, Mm-hmm. And a lot of these New Year's resolutions or whatever. They're things that you said maybe in passing to someone. I'm gonna
whatever.
Stop pulling my hair out.
Yeah.
Say, okay, and whatever. And then, all right, well, now that time has passed that you told one person, I'm sure you've done nothing else to help.
Yeah.
Move that along.
Right.
Yeah. So, and yeah, it's not gonna affect your daily life. It's not gonna. If you miss that, there's no one asking you. There's also, all right, if you missed it and you have to make it up, right, then it messes up your day, so it puts stress on you, so you're going to make sure you do it at that time, all those kinds of things. It's just forcing you to do exactly what you're saying you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I want to read this, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll link this up in the podcast. It's this guy I follow on Instagram, so he's like a men's mental health thing, so just take that with a grain of salt, but I still think the message is great. I've seen grown men crumble at the slightest sign of adversity. Frankly, resilience is really not much of a requirement in modern society. Climate controlled everything, anything we could possibly want or demand, and surrounded by people willing to pander to us and rescue us from any set of circumstances we may have created for ourselves. But if you aren't placing yourself under voluntary hardship in training when the stakes are low, you sure as shit won't be able to handle yourself when the stakes are high. Make it difficult on yourself, not for the waning of making things harder than they need to be, but for the sake of inoculating yourself against misfortune you may find yourself in later in life.
Yeah. No, it's completely like what I was trying to say. When I'm mentally, these workouts are really hard and grueling, and when that happens, and say something crappy happens at the gym, I feel much more prepared to be able to take on that kind of stress and be able to deal with it. But when I'm not working out hard, still working out,
you just feel the weight of it more heavily somehow.
Things in life feel harder.
Yeah.
And it's because I haven't done anything in the last month or 2 months to make my brain go, I gotta fucking push myself.
Right.
Shut up and keep moving on.
Right.
And that's exactly.
I love what he wrote.
Yeah, I think
I just saw it earlier today and was like, damn.
No, I mean that's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've talked about going through the motions and workouts and things like that. It's not all just to lose more calories. It's much more than that.
It's also mental fitness.
Yeah.
Whatever helps, man.
And that's why, and the reality is that's why 99% of people that walk in here quit. It's not because of anything else. It's not, I highly doubt it's because of our facility or our coaches or our price.
Right.
It is how hard it is, and that the fact that they have to fucking do it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're doing nothing, right? So doing anything, this is crazy intense for them. Now, if you guys have been doing this for 2 or 3 years, that means too, though, that you're good with coming in. Now you got to make sure when you come in, some days when you're ready, push yourself.
Put the intent behind it.
I don't know if I always talk about Evan on this podcast, but once a week I find Evan finishing a workout, going all out to the point where he is gagging.
Yeah.
Literally, like about to puke, and I mean profusely, loudly gagging because he put himself in so much pain. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm not saying that everyone needs to go to that point,
right?
But what I'm saying is
Evan, you're a freak.
Is that when something comes up with Evan, right? Something in life comes hard to him that would crush most of you. It's probably going to feel like nothing to him. Mm-hmm. He'll just be like, okay, and then move on.
It's part of why he has such a great attitude.
Yeah.
And we talked to Eric too. Eric has such a great attitude about life.
Mm-hmm.
And he routinely seeks out challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how slow you go or whatever the hell you're doing. 100-mile race is 100 miles. 100 miles is 100 miles.
That's ridiculous.
You can't. you can't change the fact that 100 miles is that distance, right? You're still like, that's still absurd no matter who you are, so, and he has a great outlook on life. And I think those things and those people who seek those challenges, it helps really give you perspective,
Yeah. And even like this guy right here who his toenail fell off. Tell him about it.
Yeah. What?
That your toenail.
Oh, yeah. So my toenail fell off. Yeah. I tested whenever this comes out 2 weeks ago. We went up to the mountains of North Carolina, right outside of Asheville, and we did a 26-mile hike with 30-pound backpack, 26 miles. And yeah, when I came down that night, and we did some other stuff after that, but I took my shoe off, my wet foot, just wrinkled to like a raisin. I took it off, and I noticed that I didn't have my toenail was like in the sock.
I'm sorry to laugh. It's just
yeah,
crazy.
So I mean, it's all about changing your set point, right? So if my set point is here, now I've put it here.
Yeah.
So things don't bother me. I have more room for things, negative things, to not touch me.
Yeah. It's because you can handle so much more stress, like literally. Mm-hmm. You literally stress to the point that your toenails fall off, that if something comes at you, it doesn't seem like as big of an obstacle because you've done so much more.
I can do it. I've done it. I can do anything.
Yeah. If you can do that,
it's a matter of time. Yeah.
Your car breaks down, you're not going to like flip out.
Right.
Because you're like,
yeah,
whatever. I mean, I'll just literally go 26 miles to wherever I need to go. I can do that if I need to, or I can just get it fixed.
A good friend of mine that I tested with for my first degree, we're good friends. He tested as well, and he says that he has a really great analogy. He said that like before I tested, I say tested, it's the 3-day thing, whatever. Before I put myself through all this stuff, when it would be raining, I would find myself like running from my car to the door. He said, but now I just kind of walk. I don't give a crap because
it's just rain.
I'm gonna get wet. It's gonna dry. I don't care. Yeah. Right. So it's all about that perspective. Like he's changed his set point to where it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I've seen people in this gym when I've asked them to run in the rain have freaked out.
Yeah.
And that was years ago. Like, it's not anybody now. It was like a couple of years ago. But like, I'm like, what the hell,
But yeah, if again, it just means if it's something that's small that literally won't affect you at all. And if you believe that you get sick because of rain, it's just
or whatever your thing is.
It's a myth. It's just put in movies a long time ago.
Yeah, I didn't get sick this weekend.
But if that's something that really affects you, then you're probably someone who stresses out all the time. You're probably frustrated all the time, angry all the time, and things feel really hard all the time because your threshold is way down here. But again, when your pain threshold mentally, it's mental, not physical. Yep. Mentally is up here. Something down like everyday shit doesn't bug you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah. It's like, I'll even say like one example that I know of is like when I got hit a few years back before I had to get my truck, kid just comes 45 miles an hour and crashes in the back of me. Most people would completely freak out. Mm-hmm. I got out and, well, it took me a while. I was actually kind of like blacked out for a second. He actually came to the door. He's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm all good. Are you good?" Obviously it was his fault. It's no big deal. But, he was like so thankful that I was an asshole to him. But it's like, all right, look, you were dumb.
Yeah, but it's we don't need to belabor the point.
We're not dead. Yeah. Like, shit happens. Yeah. Move on.
Comparatively, it's good.
You weren't trying to kill me. You were just being stupid. Whatever. Yeah. Stuff happens. You move on. Some people would get super angry in that situation. I really, honestly, I wasn't angry at all. But I think it's because, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're trained hard.
Yeah. Like, mentally, it's like, okay, if I can get hit by a fucking 45 mile an hour car
you'd be all right, and
be okay, it's like, shit, I feel good about myself.
Yeah, you should. That's amazing.
But it's, I think, we can keep going on to this, but yeah, it's really, really important that you start pushing yourself in, not just in the gym, but in other things too.
Yeah.
In goals.
Yeah, try to connect the dots. I think that's what we're saying. You're in here, try to think about intent, try to have a purpose, and try to connect the dots and all this stuff. It is all interconnected. If you're having trouble sleeping, if you're having anxiety, your diet, your exercise, your life at home with your partner, whatever it is, it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Try to connect them. Try to put some emotion into it. Like I promise it will. If you're working on it just a little bit every day,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just one thing, like it adds up. You know,
It does. At the end of the workout, last minute, you pushing yourself for that last minute to give your absolute best to, it's going to hurt, but it's a short amount of time that will make a big difference.
Yeah.
And not just here, but in other things.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to take on so much more.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good message.
I thought it was a good subject.
Yeah.
I think we went around a lot of things, but.
All right. Until next time, adios.
See you later.